Good evening. You're watching Bullet News Today. Let's dive into tonight's top stories. 1 killed, 10 wounded in grenade attack outside hotel in southwest Pakistan. In Quetta, the capital of Baluchistan province, insurgents carried out a deadly grenade attack, killing 1 person and injuring 10 others. The incident occurred late Wednesday night as people gathered outside a hotel to celebrate Pakistan's Independence Day. This marks the third such attack in Quetta in just 3 days. The Baloch Liberation Army, BEL, a separatist group, claimed responsibility for the attack, continuing their long-standing insurgency for the province's independence. Despite the government's efforts to quell the insurgency, violence persists in the region, which borders Iran and Afghanistan. Apple extends iPhone NFC access to developers outside EU with iOS 18.1. Apple has announced a major policy shift by extending access to its iPhone NFC, near-field communication functionality to third-party developers beyond the European Union. This move comes under pressure from the European Commission to open up NFC capabilities for broader use, beyond just Apple's wallet. With iOS 18.1, developers in countries such as Australia, Brazil, Canada, Japan, New Zealand, the UK, and the US will now have access, with more regions expected to follow. However, developers will need to enter into commercial agreements with Apple to utilize this functionality. China's e-commerce giant Alibaba Group misses Q1 revenue estimates. Alibaba Group Holding has reported lower than expected revenue for the first quarter, as the company's domestic e-commerce sales were impacted by cautious consumer spending in China's slowing economy. This resulted in a 4% drop in the company's US-listed shares during pre-market trading. Facing stiff competition from rivals like JD.com and Pinduoduo, Alibaba's domestic e-commerce revenue fell by 1% despite growth in order volume. However, the company saw a 32% revenue increase in its international e-commerce unit and a 6% rise in its cloud segment, driven by strong demand for AI-related products and public cloud adoption. Net income for the quarter also dropped to 24.27 billion yuan from 34.333 billion yuan a year earlier. UK economy records strong growth in Q2, but faces slowdown ahead. The UK economy saw robust growth in the second quarter of 2024, with GDP expanding by 0.6%, building on a 0.7% rise in the first quarter. However, the momentum slowed in June, with zero growth reported, largely due to wet weather affecting retail sales and a doctor's strike impacting healthcare activity. While the Bank of England may still proceed with interest rate cuts later this year, the outlook for the remainder of 2024 is less optimistic, with growth expected to decelerate in the coming quarters. Economic challenges such as weak business investment and slow productivity growth continue to weigh on the UK's recovery. Paetongtarn Shinawatra poised to become Thailand's next prime minister. Thailand's Pheu Thai Party announced its nomination of Paetongtarn Shinawatra as the country's next prime minister, following the removal of former Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin due to an ethical violation. Paetongtarn, the youngest daughter of former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, is set to become Thailand's second female prime minister if approved in Friday's parliamentary vote. Her nomination continues the Shinawatra family's political legacy, with both her father and aunt, Yingluck Shinawatra, having previously held the position of prime minister. Paetongtarn's candidacy is buoyed by the enduring popularity of her father, who remains a significant influence in Thai politics. China tightens regulations on rural banks' mutual fund investments amid bond market concerns. In response to mounting concerns over a potential bond market bubble and financial instability, Chinese financial authorities have instructed rural commercial banks to limit their investments in mutual funds. This directive aims to address the high exposure of these small rural lenders to bond funds, which has been a significant factor in the recent surge in bond prices. The new guidelines require banks to ensure that their mutual fund investments, categorized under special purpose vehicles, do not surpass 2.5% of their total assets. This move comes amid broader regulatory efforts to cool the overheated bond market and mitigate risks similar to those experienced by Silicon Valley Bank. The National Financial Regulatory Administration has not yet commented on this development, which reflects the central bank's ongoing caution against aggressive bond buying amid a fragile economic climate. Gaza death toll surpasses 40,000 as ceasefire negotiations intensify. The health ministry in Gaza has reported that over 40,000 Palestinians have been killed in the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict, which has entered its 11th month. This staggering death toll underscores the devastating impact of Israel's military campaign, which began on October 7th following a surprise attack by Hamas militants on southern Israel. As international mediators, including representatives from the United States, Qatar, and Egypt, convene in Qatar to negotiate a ceasefire, tensions remain high. The talks aim to end the conflict and secure the release of hostages, but both sides have expressed concerns over the terms, leading to fears of further escalation and regional instability. JD.com exceeds profit expectations amid intense price war and economic slowdown. Chinese e-commerce giant JD.com surpassed analysts' profit estimates for the second quarter, reporting a 73.7% increase in profit per share, driven by aggressive pricing strategies and the success of its mid-year sales event. Despite a challenging economic environment that has seen consumers become more cost-conscious, JD.com's efforts to offer deeper discounts and focus on lower-priced goods have attracted more budget-sensitive shoppers to its platform. This performance led to a 2.6% rise in the company's U.S.-listed shares during pre-market trading. However, JD.com also faced fierce competition, particularly during the 618 Shopping Festival, a major discount event that helped boost its revenue to 291.40 billion yuan, slightly below market expectations. DP World's profits plummet by 60% amid Red Sea shipping disruptions. Dubai-based port operator DP World has reported a sharp 60% drop in half-year profits, with earnings falling to US $265 million compared to USD $651 million during the same period last year. The significant decline is partly attributed to disruptions in the Red Sea caused by attacks from Yemen's Houthi rebels, which have targeted shipping in response to the Israel-Hamas conflict. These disruptions have severely affected global supply chains, particularly impacting the flow of goods through the Red Sea, a critical trade route. DP World's chairman, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, acknowledged the challenges but expressed confidence in the company's ability to maintain stable profits for the full year despite ongoing geopolitical and economic uncertainties. Record 39 candidates enter Sri Lanka's presidential race amid economic turmoil. Sri Lanka's upcoming presidential election has attracted a record 39 candidates, including 3 minority Tamils and 2 Buddhist monks, but notably no women are among the contenders. The September 21st election will be the first since the country plunged into an economic crisis in 2022, leading to widespread public protests and the eventual ousting of former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Key candidates include the current President Ranil Wickremesinghe, Namal Rajapaksa, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa, and Marxist leader Anura Kumara Dissanayake. The election will be a crucial test for the island nation as it navigates its way out of economic and political instability. Warren Buffett's Berkshire slashes Apple stake, amassing $270 billion cash reserve. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway has significantly reduced its holdings in Apple Inc., selling off 50% of its stake and trimming its position in Bank of America by nearly 9%. This move has bolstered Berkshire's cash reserves to an unprecedented $276.9 billion, a level not seen since 2005. Despite these sell-offs, Apple remains Berkshire's largest stock investment, albeit reduced to $84.2 billion. Market analysts speculate that Buffett might be positioning for potential economic downturns or preparing for increased corporate taxes, as hinted during Berkshire's recent AGM. Climate change intensifies wildfire threats, endangering farm workers' health. As wildfires become more frequent and severe due to climate change, a new study reveals that farm workers are facing alarming health risks from toxic air pollution. In Sonoma County, California, during the 2020 wildfires, farm workers, driven by necessity, continued harvesting crops despite hazardous conditions. Many experienced severe respiratory issues, with some requiring emergency care. The study highlights inadequate protections, with air quality monitors and emergency protocols falling short in safeguarding workers. Researchers urge stricter regulations and health screenings to address the urgent need for better working conditions and protections for these essential workers. Japan PM reaffirms commitment to peace as defense minister visits controversial shrine. On the 79th anniversary of Japan's World War II defeat, Prime Minister Fumio Kishida reiterated Japan's commitment to a rules-based international order and pacifism during a ceremony at Budokan Hall. Kishida emphasized Japan's resolve to avoid future conflicts while honoring the over 3 million lives lost in the war. However, his speech did not address Japanese wartime aggression, a point of contention among critics. On the same day, 3 of Kishida's ministers, including Defense Minister Minoru Kihara, visited the Yasukuni Shrine, which honors war criminals and is seen as a symbol of Japan's militaristic past, drawing criticism from neighboring countries. Kishida abstained from visiting the shrine, but sent a religious ornament instead amid growing concerns over Japan's military expansion and its strategic alliances. Investigation launched against former Bangladesh PM Hasina for genocide and human rights violations. Bangladesh's International Crimes Tribunal has initiated an investigation into former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and 9 others, including high-ranking members of her Awami League party, on charges of genocide and crimes against humanity. The probe follows allegations that Hasina and her affiliates orchestrated a violent crackdown on student protesters from July 15th to August 5th, resulting in numerous casualties. The complaint, filed by the father of a student killed during the protests, accuses the former leaders of severe human rights abuses. The tribunal also faces additional cases, including enforced disappearances and murder linked to recent unrest. The ongoing investigations reflect the turmoil in Bangladesh, where the recent fall of Hasina's government has led to widespread violence and political upheaval. Arrest made in investigation of Matthew Perry's death, authorities to provide update. Authorities have announced the arrest of at least one individual in connection with the death of actor Matthew Perry, who died from an accidental ketamine overdose last year. Details of the arrest remain confidential as the investigation is ongoing, with a news conference scheduled in Los Angeles for further updates. Perry was found dead in his hot tub in October 2023, with an autopsy revealing high levels of ketamine in his system. The drug, used for both anesthesia and depression treatment, was identified as the primary cause of death, though the presence of such levels raised questions about its source. Authorities are collaborating with the DEA and U.S. Postal Inspection Service to determine the circumstances surrounding the overdose. U.S. business inventories rise slightly by 0.3% in June amid mixed sector performance. In June, U.S. business inventories saw a modest increase of 0.3%, following a 0.5% rise in May, according to the Commerce Department's Census Bureau. Retail inventories led the gain with a 0.9% increase, surpassing earlier estimates, while motor vehicle inventories also showed a notable rise. However, wholesale inventories saw a smaller increase and manufacturer stocks remained unchanged. Year-on-year, inventories grew by 2.1%. Despite this, business sales experienced a slight decline of 0.1% in June, maintaining a clearance rate of 1.38 months for inventory. This data indicates a stabilization in inventory levels, contributing positively to the GDP growth. Google expands AI-generated search summaries to 6 new countries after troublesome launch. Google has announced the expansion of its AI-generated search summaries, known as AI Overviews, to 6 new countries, including Brazil, India, Indonesia, Japan, Mexico, and Britain. This feature, which places AI-generated answers at the top of search results, was initially rolled out in the US in May, but faced criticism for delivering inaccurate information. In response, Google updated the feature to improve accuracy and limit sources. The new rollout will include updates such as additional hyperlinks and direct links within the summaries to enhance user experience and support website traffic. This expansion follows a ruling that Google holds an illegal monopoly on search, highlighting the competitive pressure from rivals like Microsoft-backed OpenAI. That's all for now. Stay tuned to Bullet News Today for more updates.